You didn't believe it, did you? You had to come see with your own eyes how little content this congregation requires. The rumors are true. Okay, this is our third and final installment of our Shakespeare series. If you want to see the other two, Richard has them up on YouTube. Me and all of my chins are there. You know, I watch those, and every time I see myself online, I'm reminded of famous journalist Edward R. Murrow. I think you guys know who he is. His quote is, "Just because your voice reaches halfway around the world, it doesn't mean you are any wiser than when it reached only to the end of the bar." Anyway, don't worry if this is the first one you're seeing. If you missed any, they make about the same amount of sense individually as sequentially, so you'll be fine. I see a lot of new faces here today. One, in fact, performed in, thank you, and thank you for your belt. Membership committee, I'm reeling him in. Stick out the net and get him in the boat, I guess. Already getting what is this, your third, fourth week here? You're already performing and bringing clothes for the poor? Just want to remind the membership committee of your ABCs. Always be converting. Always be converting. Is this on? Right, I'm not sure that it's common knowledge, so I just want to, because it's new, I want to take an opportunity to tell you we actually have monthly themes now at UUCSJS, per Pastor Charlie. So this month, of course, is Love Month. I can think of no one less qualified to lead you in this topic, but I will make every effort. When is Cynical Month, Pastor Charlie? That's when I should be up here. Cynical Month, bitter butter month. Sign me up, that's when I should be here. All right. So the first principle we are attacking today is the acceptance of one another and encouragement in our spiritual growth in our congregations. To dramatize this, we are going to an unlikely Shakespearean couple, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. I know. It's like using Bonnie and Clyde to teach the Kabbalah, but we're going to give it our best effort. Why should this series start to make sense at this point? Actually, Jack Miller told me that he always taught his high school students Macbeth as a love story. And he pointed out to his students that there's no lines in the text where Lady Macbeth says she wants to be queen. She just wants her husband to be king. So she's pretty selfless, misguided, but as the text tells us, selfless. But whenever I think of Macbeth, I just wanted to share a quick story about a job that I had right out of college with Great Lakes Theater Festival. And what we did is go into local high schools, and we would teach the English classes for a week. And for the high school sophomores, I believe it was, we taught Macbeth. And this is when you really question the path that you've taken in life to become an actor. It is some obscene hour of the morning, and I have the fake Caro syrup blood dripping down my forearms, but I'm into it. I've just gotten my degree. There's no small parts, just small actors. And I have my chainmail dress, the whole thing. My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. And inevitably at this point, the PA would come on, and we would hear the principal say, "8th graders, please remember your field trip, your mission slips. Get them into Miss Humphrey by Thursday. That's 8th graders, please remember your field trip permission slip." Sorry for the interruption. Ouch, damn spot! Just wanted to share that with you. My experience of staring down the barrel of teenage angst. But on that note, I guess it's a good time to look at the scene. This is Act 1, Scene 7 of the Scottish play. I don't know if you know that, but you're not to say the title of the Scottish play. It's bad enough.
How now? What news?
He's almost stopped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
He will proceed not with this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale, and what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest to be the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the attic?
I dare do that which would not be a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was this that made you break this enterprise? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. No time, no place did then adhere, and he would make them both. And their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling up at me, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have sworn to this.
And if we should fail?
We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. Drink back, everyone. Well, I think I just got myself out of ever having to man the nursery in RE. And if you remember from part one, we were talking about George Carlin. I actually came very close to saying one of those 7 dirty words that you can't say on television, so you can Google that. Okay, so acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. Do you feel accepted in this congregation? Are your desires heard in this congregation? How deep are your relationships with each other in this congregation? You know, I had an interesting run-in with Pam Altifer. I was at a meeting at her office, and this will shock you, I'm sure, but I said something obnoxious. And she took notice of it, and she said that we needed to talk after the meeting. So I'm thinking to myself, here we go, the big feelings and whatever. And I went over to her and I said, and the first thing out of her mouth, the first thing that she said to me was, are we okay? Do you remember that? Are we okay? Not what's the matter with you, not when you're in my office, you need to be respectful, not, what did I do to make you say that? None of that. Are we okay? All she cared about in that one moment was our relationship. I can tell you that my drive home with Teresa McReynolds was much quieter that particular evening. So imagine if that's how we supported each other's spiritual growth in this congregation. Yes. Everyone's agreed. Just shout things out. We haven't planned this for months or anything. Please just shout out. So the people in our directory, for instance, that haven't been here in the last year, are you calling them? Are you writing them a note? Are you asking them, are we okay? Not that pledge drive is starting, not that should we still send you the magazine, it cost us $90. Just, are we okay? If only Lady Macbeth would have asked her husband that. Our next principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part. Shakespeare gives us an actual logical choice, which is Midsummer Night's Dream. If you don't know the play, do most of you know it? I'm pretty confident you've heard of it, right? At least I know you've seen Dead Poets Society, 1989. Yes, so we've all seen a little bit of it. Okay. So, since this is Love Month, though, real quick, I just want to point out from my fantastic Nori Epstein book, which I have a copy now to donate to our library because I lost mine, and Anne's friend at work used her Amazon bonus points to get me a second copy, and then I found it at the bottom of my disheveled closet. So, this will go in the library. So, she has a couple